Hi guys. The truth is that I had no plan whatsoever to record a video. But what happened was that I had such an 18th gate experience, a few of them actually today. So I really felt such an inspiration to share them with you. Really, I am so inspired by how when we're aligned, then the transits just work. They are empowering us, they are inspiring us, and they show us the way. Really amazing. So I was sitting at this amazing beach that you see in the picture. I was invited by a friend, a projector friend that lives in a city by the sea, and and I came to meet her after a few months that we didn't meet. And this friend, she's a projector, a splenic projector, and she's the cross of upheaval. Her sun is in the 17th gate, and the earth is in the 18th gate. So the energy between us is always about this sharing of patterns and corrections, and we talk a lot about what's need to be corrected. Yes, this is the gate that works on what has been spoiled. So we were talking about things and sharing a lot, of course, and it was interesting because she, as being, as a cross of upheaval and a splenic projector, she is very sharp and she pokes, these people poke you, and they do that in order for you to wake up, and that's a great thing for a projector. The thing is that when this kind of design just shoots and pokes without being invited, or sometimes not in the correct timing or not in the correct way, then it really is strong and it can really cause resistance. Now, many times when this dear friend speaks to me and wants to share things that she sees about me or about something that I'm talking, I'm really being I'm being I don't know how you say it in English, but I'm just feel myself being pushed, and I have a lot of resistance. And it was interesting that today we opened it, but the 18th gate is really the gate that sees what needs to be corrected and wants to work on what has been spoiled. And it's a part of the stream of taste. It's a logical stream in the collective logic circuitry that talks about improving the patterns or seeing what need to be corrected for the greater whole, of course, part of the process service. And it comes from the quarter of duality, as we know, and it's a lot about relationships, and it's a lot about the criticism in the not self that actually turns into something for the benefit. I mean, it is really an act of service to show you the pattern that needs to be corrected. But most of the people that carry this gate in the homogenized world, and of course in these weeks that we have it in the sun, it really becomes a gate, a bitching gate. It's very criticizing, and most of the people, walk around this beautiful blue planet with an open ego. So the whole thing together is really not so pleasant. But today I could see the light of this relationship correction gate. We were sitting and talking, and she said a few things, and I felt I'm being, I closed myself, and I couldn't, I couldn't do anything about it. And I wanted to hear. On the one hand, I was curious, and she's a projector and she's very bright, and I wanted to hear what she has to say. But on the other hand, I was just pushed, and I didn't feel good about it. So, and she said, it always happens when I want to share something with you. And during the conversation, I felt that I came to this with a lot of compassion to myself and to her, and I wanted really to get to the bottom of this. And suddenly I got it, and I told her, what I feel is that this thing happens because I'm emotional. And first of all, you need to be invited by me to say these poking things, but it's not only the invitation, because, in a give and take conversation, it's okay. I mean, yes, we need to ask each other if it's okay to share something, when it's about the other person. But the fact was that she's so sharp with this splenic awareness and these gates, and I need time, and suddenly I just got it that she needs to, when she feels she wants to share something like this to me, she just needs to prepare me. She needs to say, Gaia, I have something that I see. Is it okay that in a few minutes I will share it with you? And I could feel how because every time she wanted to say something and I was like being, I closed myself. After a few minutes, I asked her, can you tell me what you wanted to say? And she said, no, I don't want to tell you. But then I realized it's not about the thing that she's going to say. It's about the way she surprised me as an emotional being. And then I'm being, the barriers wouldn't open, and this, it causes resistance. So it was very nice to see how by being respectful and talking, this is relationship, yes? You're relating to each other with honor and with respect, we could actually solve this thing that happens between us for the 2 years, I think we're friends, something like this, 2 years, even more. And suddenly it happened. Suddenly I realized why it happening, and it happens, and I could share it with her, Gate 18, and something really shifted between us, and also my criticism about myself, I also have the 18th, could relax a little bit, because I thought to myself, why don't you want to listen to her? She's bright, she's a projector, she sees you, she can contribute, she's doing it to serve. But then I realized it's about the basic mechanics, and this should always be respected in order for relationship to work. And this was working on something that has been spoiled because of our wrong patterns, or let's say old patterns that need to upgrade. So this was one adventure that happened to me today. And then before I went home, I just looked at Facebook, and I saw about, I think 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, I was invited by a dear friend to like the page of the Academy of the Hebrew Language, which is a very interesting institute that corrects and teaches, educates the masses, yes, everyone who likes the Hebrew, the correct Hebrew language, likes to see, and they work all the time on what has been spoiled, and they see what needs to be corrected, because many Israelis don't speak the correct and let's say the correct Hebrew. And I really like it, because I like speaking the correct Hebrew, and I like all these games, my open throat likes all kind of articulation and details, and everything about the throat fascinates me. So I was looking at Facebook, and I saw that they posted a very interesting post about correcting a very common mistake in Hebrew. And it surprised me that I used to pronounce this word in the wrong way. And suddenly I really felt joy that they corrected my language. And usually I just like their posts, and suddenly I felt the invitation to thank them. And I wrote a comment, and I said that I really, really thank them for correcting me. And then there was a comment on my comment that say they are not, if I may, it was very polite, if I may say, they weren't correcting you, they were correcting your language. And it was so beautiful. I mean, in Hebrew, it was really correct. It was pronounced correctly. They were not correcting you, they were correcting the way you pronounced, or the way, it was very nice. And I was filled with joy again. I mean, I'm being corrected again and again, and I like it. So I could feel the energy of this gate of correction so strongly, because usually I'm happy to see these posts, but never have the urge to correct, to write, comment. I mean, to comment. So it was amazing. And one more thing that I want to say about this gate. Yesterday, a dear friend asked me about the second line that we are really about to enter very soon. The second line is called terminal disease. And it's first of all the lines of the 18th gate are very, very unique and very deep and interesting. And as I'm watching my attitude changes in the last year towards gates and lines, I see the way they all can be transcend. And in this generation that are now like 42, 44, you know, all these people born around the early 70s, they have Pluto in their, in the 18th gate. So they have a lesson with this correction, and it really stands there. And I also noticed that people that have the 18th in their Pluto, they are merged in relationship stuff, even if they're not in the quarter of duality, because this is a lot about relationships, this gate. So this dear, dear friend of mine has the 18th in the second line, and Pluto is exalted. And the blue line of this line says the recognition. The line is called terminal disease, as I said, and the blue line is the recognition that what has been spoiled is irreversible. Now, when we look at this, it's really strong. From the first impression is, oh my God, because all the lines here are very, I mean, except the sixth line, the perfected form, all the others are really not easy, and they are all kind of terminal diseases. And I looked deeply into this gate and into this line in the last few months while I'm being in relationship with this person, and I can see how this 18th gate in the second line produces or introduces itself all the time. The exalted part that Pluto exalts says acceptance and strength derived from a faith in spiritual regeneration. The acceptance that there is no potential for correction. Now, this is very interesting because these are two different parts of the center of the gate, of the line, that are not, in the first time you read it, you don't understand what's going on. Acceptance and strength derived from a faith in spiritual regeneration, yes, but what does that has to do with the acceptance that there is no potential for correction? So I dived into it again. And what I see is that whenever we surrender to something that we feel at the moment, it is splenic gate, we feel at the moment that this thing is impossible to correct. There's no potential for correction. We feel that this relationship or this person or this pattern in me or in the outside or in the world, I mean, it depends. And it doesn't matter which line we have, and it doesn't matter even if we have this gate. It's something that's in the programs of all of us have it this way or another. So when we face something that in the moment we feel we can't correct, the only way that we can transcend this limitation, and this is a limitation in the moment, is by trusting the higher parts of us, the higher dimensions of us that see the bigger picture. And there's anything in this, there's nothing in this world that can't be corrected in this way or another. And sometimes we look at correction in the very narrow way that we can see in the moment with the tools we have in this mundane situation, in this stuck relationship, let's say, in the moment. But when we just surrender to it and accept this limitation and accept that there is no correction, then there's a shift. And the shift comes from this acceptance and strength derived from a faith in spiritual regeneration. We are all the time being regenerated. We are all the time we are connected to higher realms of ourselves. Most of the time we are not aware of this, but it doesn't matter, it happens anyway. So that's why there's can be transcendence, because we let go in the moment. In the moment, we're talking about splenic awareness. We see that this is impossible to correct now, and we just relax and we leave it and we put our attention in something else, and there this spiritual rejuvenation happens, something happens. We have the faith that what needs to be corrected will be corrected, not by us all the time. We can ask for help, and that's it, and release it. And things are being corrected because we are talking about relationship stuff. Whenever we shift our energy, or our energy is being shifted, and we have these quantum leaps and these development situations that we just jump to another energetic realm and another frequency, then what we felt or saw that needs to be corrected sometimes just disappears, or as we can say, corrected. And it's not about us correcting things. It's about the broader intelligence correcting or showing us that there was nothing wrong to begin with. So this is really, I'm thankful for this question, because I just realized some things while I'm speaking to you. So that's really interesting. So we are having a very logical week. We have the channel of logic, and we have the 17th gate of the opinion that is the continue the channel of logic, as almost all the stream of logic. People with the 62nd gate, of course, have the whole stream now. And of course the 18th gate. So we are going to bathe or like I was I don't know how you said, I was swimming. Let's say I was swimming in this amazing blue sea, and all of us will be swimming in this logical correction energy for 5 more days. So let us have really fun with this, and let us be inspired by all these things that we think that we can't correct, or we think it's our responsibility to correct. Maybe not. Maybe we just need to see what needs to be corrected, and then someone else in a different timing will work on what has been spoiled. So that's it. It was spontaneous video. I didn't plan this, so I hope you enjoyed from this little adventure I had today. Bye-bye.